going through the middle. Here's Taylor again, and Palace now is stretching Chelsea. Chatterton's going inside again, there he is. On again for Taylor. Well, this man may well have won the tie in the space of 2 minutes.
Welcome to Team of the 80s. I adapted, you probably noticed, I adapted the intro for this week's podcast. I'm Gary Spencer. This is Team of the 80s, and as a very special tribute to that game 50 years ago this past weekend, that amazing game, Chelsea 2, Crystal Palace 3, and that was the start of Team of the 80s. That cup run, 1976, Malcolm Allison, the fedora, all those great away wins. We started off very humbly, actually. We just, I can't remember, Tooting and Mitcham, I think, and then Scarborough, and then Chelsea, Leeds, Sunderland, and we got beat by Southampton, which were probably the weakest team, apart from Scarborough and Tooting and Mitcham. But what a cup run that was. It was 50 years ago this past weekend on Valentine's Day. At the time, it was called the Valentine's Day Massacre. And yeah, I mean, that was the start of the Team of the 80s, the glamour, the swagger, the Malcolm Allison, the Eagles, the red and blue sash, the white shirt. And it all started back in that cup run. It really did, because the following year, the following season, I believe we got out of Division 3. And then a couple of years later, we beat Burnley. And we got out of the old Division 1, or the old Division 2, sorry, and into Division 1. The cup run was special. I mean, we won the FA Cup last season, and that was, obviously, we'd never won it before, and we'd never won silverware. And that was a very special day for Crystal Palace Football Club. But there was something about that cup run that I think was better than us actually winning the FA Cup. One of the reasons why is because we were this unfashionable third division club, and we just went on this amazing run. You got to remember that in 1976, I think when we beat Sunderland at Roker Park, they hadn't got beat at home for 2 years. The Leeds United team we beat was the Leeds United that had won the championship the year before, or 2 years before that. And then Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. 3 amazing away wins. For me, I was at all those games. Leeds was a battle on and off the pitch. And Sunderland was... The Sunderland game, we were really up against it, and anyone who went that day, and if any of you did go that day and you're listening to this, please let me know. But if you remember, it was freezing up there, and they parked the coaches, 2 miles away near the beach, and we had to walk. And in those days, Neil Everett and Jerry Mansfield run the coaches. Neil, as you probably know or may not know, was also the photographer. He wasn't doing much photography in those days. He was doing a bit, but then he went on to be the club's official photographer, and he gave up the coaches, but then I think coaches more or less gave themselves up. Jerry, unfortunately, Big Jerry, he left us a few years ago. Great character, staunch Palace, obviously home and away, and just a very, very funny man. Malcolm Allison obviously was a huge part of that cup run, and he wore this sheepskin throughout the tournament and the fedora hat. Now, I don't know if you know this story, but he wore the fedora hat. His girlfriend actually bought him that hat for Christmas, and He wore the fedora hat because he heard of a Portsmouth manager, an old Portsmouth manager, Jack Tin, and Portsmouth won the FA Cup, and Jack Tin wore these spats on his shoes, and he used to say to the press, "See these spats? With these spats, I'm going to win the FA Cup." And Malcolm had remembered that, and he did the same with the fedora. "See this hat? With this hat, we're going to win the FA Cup." And also what he did in that run, before the game, he would go up to the away crowd and he would put his fingers up and he would predict the score. And that score, weirdly enough, was the score we always won by. And guess what? The only game he didn't do that was against Southampton in the semi-final, where we played terribly. Anyway, that's the little story about the fedora. Now, you're probably thinking, so this was back in 1976. So what is the connection to the team of the 80s? Well, as I've already said, it was all going on in the background. Also in that time, Palace was signing these amazing youth players. And in the 76-77 season and in the 77-78 season, we won the FA Youth Cup. And we won the FA Youth Cup with players such as Kenny Sanson, Vince Allaire, Billy Gilbert, Ian Walsh, and on, Stevie Lovell, Peter Nicholas, of course. And I don't know if you know it. Answer this question for me. Who scored the winner in both those games? Well, I'll let you know. It was Terry Fenwick. And Terry obviously went on to have a glittering career with Tottenham and QPR and, of course, England, and actually marked Maradona in the 1986 World Cup. Yeah, the 1986 World Cup. Anyway, so that was the beginning of the team of the 80s, our great Youth Cup winning teams. I think we beat Everton in the first game. I was up there with the guys, and Aston Villa in the second game. Going back to the FA Cup. Chelsea away. Peter Taylor. Malcolm Allison said he always wanted to sign a player that played on the right and had a left foot, or played on the left and had a right foot. And Taylor, Taylor destroyed teams. He really did. That's why Tottenham consequently bought him, and he went on to play for England. But another fact about Peter Taylor was, I think he was the only third division player ever to play for England. So, he was a very, very special player. But going on to about his second goal, he scored against Chelsea that day. And I texted an old pal of mine, Phil Older, who played for the club for a while, and he was subbed that day. And I sent in the video of that day on the anniversary the other day. And I said, "You were subbed that day, Phil?" And he said, "Was I, Cal?" Which was quite funny. But yeah, special times. And then I think we sold Don Rogers. We sold Don Rogers in maybe 75, 76, 75 maybe. And that's when Terry Venables joined the club. And Terry played a few games for us in midfield. And there's another great story of Malcolm Allison. He said to Terry, he said, you're getting slower and slower. I think it'd be a great idea if you joined me on the coaching staff. And Venables said, Malcolm, I wouldn't have taken that from anyone else but you. And he walks out the office. And then moments later, there's a knock on the door. Malcolm says, "Come in," and it's Terry again. He says, "Oh yeah, by the way, Happy New Year," because it was New Year's Eve. Great times at the club. Like I say, the real start of us becoming fashionable, and we had a real good run. And if it did nothing else, it lifted the spirit of the club. Yes, it all ended quite badly for Malcolm. We went on a bad run. He got sacked. Venables took over. We had a great, a year maybe? We had a great 18 months. And then it all fell apart when Kenny went to Arsenal. Clive Allen came in, and slowly, the great team of the 80s fell apart. But here's the good news. In a couple of weeks' time, I'll be having one of the members of that team of the 80s on the show. So I'm looking very much forward to that. And the clue I'm going to give you is that he's Welsh. And yeah, so make sure you tune into that. Please like, subscribe, follow, and do all the bits and pieces on Instagram and TikTok. It's always a pleasure to debate with you and listen to what you think about the club and where we're at the moment. And yeah, tomorrow, of course, we are back in that Europa Conference League nonsense. I call it nonsense. I'm not really a fan. I never really felt that we'd be sustainable in Europe, and I still don't think that. And to be quite honest with you, if we do or we don't get through this qualifying round, I don't care either way. I just want us to stay up, get through this season. It's all been a bit of a roller coaster ride, really, and look forward to what's coming for next season. But we've got a lot of football between us and a lot more podcasts, and I want you to tune in as often as you can. So thanks for listening. My name's Gary Spencer, and come on you Palace.